Welcome to topic one of entrepreneurship, that is introduction to entrepreneurship. So let us look at what entrepreneurship is. It is the act or process of identifying business opportunities, assembling the necessary resources, taking calculated risks, initiate a successful business activity. So when you talk of opportunity, what is a business opportunity? A business opportunity is a potential to make profit or a market which does not have a lot of competitions or something new. You don't know about it, you are the first person to discover, and that's what you call business opportunity. So it's all about identifying those opportunities. Now, when you talk of assembling resources, what are the resources you need to start up a business? We can talk of finances or the capital. Then we can also talk of the human resources. Then maybe you can talk of other resources like land, if that's you want to set up a manufacturing company or factory. So these are some of the resources you need to assemble if you want to start up a business. Then you have to take a well-calculated risk. So business involves a lot of risks. Okay? Risks can be in terms of market failure, risk can be in terms of insecurity or any other economical issues. So that affects your business, is what we call a risk. So in all, we are saying that the opportunity, sending of resources, and taking of calculated risk is what we mean by entrepreneurship. So in ordinary terms, we are saying that entrepreneurship is just a process of starting up a small. So it's not about the big organization. Whatever small business you are trying to start is what we call entrepreneurial activity. Even if it's a chapati making, okay? If you're making chapati, you're planning to make a chapati, that is entrepreneurship. If you're trying to make or to start up a salon business, that is also entrepreneurship. So any business activities which can generate profit at the end of the day is entrepreneurial activity. So basically, that is what entrepreneurship. In the next slide, now we're looking at the entrepreneurs. Who are entrepreneurs? After knowing that entrepreneurship is the process of identifying opportunities, mobilizing resources to start a business. So, who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneurs are individuals who take risks, organize resources, and initiate change in order to establish business venture. So entrepreneur is an individual like you, a person like you. If you are having a business already or if you are planning to start up a business, you are actually an entrepreneur. Don't wait to have a big organization so that people will start calling you an entrepreneur. No. The small business you are having is enough. It has actually qualified you to be called entrepreneur. So the difference here is that an entrepreneur is a person who undertakes entrepreneurial activity, whereas entrepreneurship is the process, is the activities which you carry out to start. So that is the difference between an entrepreneur and the entrepreneurship. Now let us look at the characteristic of a successful entrepreneur. For you to be successful in your business or for you to be called an entrepreneur, the one who is successful, one is you must be a risk taker. Okay, be a risk taker. Like I've told you before, a business involves a lot of risks, financial risks of market failure, economic conditions. You can talk of maybe failure to succeed actually, okay, when the business fails, that's another risk. So for you to be successful, you need to take that risk. There's no way you can be a successful entrepreneur without taking risk. So whoever has been successful in the business must have taken risk. Because by the time you are starting the business, you are not sure of what's going to happen. You are not sure whether the business will succeed or not. So don't fear to take risk. It is advisable that you always take risks. The next characteristic of a successful entrepreneur is that they have desire to achieve. So what do they want to achieve? Of course, success in their business, profit in their business. So an entrepreneur always desire to achieve success. They desire to achieve profit or to make more profit. The more profit you make, the more chances of you expanding your business across the country or even across the world. So they have that desire. The next characteristic is ability to work with the others. Entrepreneurship is a process. Okay. Who are the others, the stakeholders or partners? That's why you see many business or many organizations are having partners. Okay. That partnership is the ability to work with others. You cannot work alone. You need others to work with you. You need people to advise you. You need people to correct you. That's why they say that two heads is better than one head. Okay. So as a characteristic of an entrepreneur or a successful entrepreneur, you need to work with the others because you will not succeed alone. So you need to look for partnership. You need to look for resources outside the organization if you want to succeed in your business. The next one is versatile knowledge. When we talk of versatile knowledge, we mean that they have a lot of knowledge. Okay, they are rich in knowledge. The knowledge to do with the finance management, the knowledge to do with the overall management of the business, knowledge to do with the human resource management, etc. They possess such kind of knowledge. Otherwise, if you don't have the knowledge of financial management and you're running an organization, so the person you have employed will not be doing the right thing and you will not realize that actually the person is not working. They keep close eye on their managers. If you are the finance manager, an entrepreneur keeps an eye. If you're the human resource manager, an entrepreneur keeps an eye on you. If you're the production operation manager, whatever activity is done in the organization, entrepreneurs have their eyes on them. So they have a lot of knowledge, or they are very rich when it comes to knowledge of the business. The next characteristic is they are dedicated. Okay. Entrepreneurs are dedicated. They love what they do. They put much interest, much attention, much resources in their business. So they are dedicated. They are not just like any other individual. There are people who start a business but they don't dedicate their time to run the business. Whether the business is doing well or not, they don't have that time. But an entrepreneur is always there for his or her business. The last characteristics of a successful entrepreneur is action oriented. Entrepreneurs, they act. When they have identified opportunities, they act by investing in the opportunity. They don't just sit down and dream. In fact, they are not dreamers. They make dreams become a reality. So they are action oriented. They act. They don't just sit down. When they have a business plan, they make sure that they implement it. If it means expansion of the business, they make sure that their business is expanded across the country or across the region. So these are some of the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur you need to know. And if you're planning to be an entrepreneur or become very successful in managing business, so these are some of the things you need to look at. If you have been fearing to take risk, you need to start taking risk. Okay. If you don't want to work with the others, this is the high time. You need to start collaborating with the others. Okay. If your knowledge is very limited, what do? You need to expand your knowledge. You can do it by reading books, associating with successful people, asking questions, attending workshops, seminars, etc. to increase on your knowledge. Then finally, you need to be acting, don't just dream. Many people have the dreams, but to make the dreams reality is the problem. So after this presentation, you need to start making your dreams become reality. So that is all about the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Now let us look at the entrepreneurial process. The journey of an entrepreneur involves various stages which include the following. One is the opportunity identification. I've talked about opportunity. What is a business opportunity? It is a potential to invest. Okay, it is a new business or a new market you want to invest in, which has no much competitions. So it begins by identifying such kind of opportunity. So identifying a gap or a problem in the market that can be addressed with a new product or services. That is step number one. Then step number two is the evaluation. Okay, assessing the visibility and viability of the business idea. So when talk of the visibility study or assessing the visibility, we are talking about the mobilization of the available resources to make the business happen. Okay, you look at the resources you have, or the resources which is on merit, then see whether it can be possible to start the business with it or it cannot. Then when we talk of viability, we are talking about the profitability of the business. How profitable is that opportunity? If you invest your money in that opportunity, how profitable is it? Because you may end up investing your money and then you receive nothing. The business fails, no profit. Yet the idea or the main aim of business is to make a profit. So in stage number two, which is evaluation, you need to look at the feasibility and also the viability of the business idea so that you invest your money in the right business instead of just wasting your money. The next stage is now the planning. So you need to develop a comprehensive business plan, including market research, financial projections, and operational strategies. Let me begin with the market research. Under market research, what are you talking about? What are you looking at? You're basically looking at the level of competition in that business. You are looking at the level of demand of that particular product or that business you want to invest in. Also, you're looking at the potential customers who are going to buy your commodities or what you can call the target market. So that is what you look at under marketing research. Then the financial projections. How much do you expect when you invest your money in that business in terms of revenue? And also you can take into consideration the expected startup capital. How much do you have? How much is the cost of the business and how much do you have? Do you have it or not? And if you don't have, where are you going to get the money from? It could be possibly from borrowing, either from the banks or from some individuals who have the money, or even selling some of your personal belongings if you have a piece of land or any other assets to sell to make that capital. So these are some of the things we look at under financial projections. Then the operational strategy. When do you intend to start the business? It matters a lot. You can have the money, but when do you intend to have it? It is really important. You need to have that in mind. And then also the management aspect of it. Who are going to be managing the business? Are you the only person to manage the business, or you have other people to help you in running the business? And where are you going to start the business from? Okay, so these are some of the elements and operational strategies you need to look at as you are planning to start up a business. That is stage number three. Now, in stage number four, we're looking at funding now. After you've identified opportunities, okay, you have made your assessment, you have a plan. Now, the next thing is funding. Acquiring the necessary capital through self-funding, loans, grants, or investment. So you need to look for the source of funding. Some people have their saving. Okay, if you have saving, you can just that's what you call self-funding. Okay, you can start up your business straight away from there. But if you don't have, then you need to think of loans from the bank. However, before you go for loan, you need to look at the terms and conditions of the repayment and also the interest rate. Some banks they charge high interest rates, so you need to always go for the banks which charges at least lower interest rate. At least 15% is not bad. 15, 20 is not bad. But any bank which charges more than 20 or 30% loan, that is too much interest. So it will affect your profit. And then you stand a high chance of not succeeding in the business because the government will come to look for you in terms of tax. You must be paying tax. You cannot just be operating without paying tax. So, as you are planning to get a loan, please look at the interest rate. Number one thing to consider. In stage number four is now the execution stage. This is where you do the implementation of your business plan. Okay, you launch the venture or the new idea or the service you are actually going to do. So under implementation or under execution is just the actual activities of the business now. For example, if your business is to set up a hospital, done your research and now you have evaluated the opportunity, you have acquired fund, the next thing now is to open up the hospital. Oh, okay, fine. You want to open a private hospital in Juba or anywhere you want. So under execution, of course, you launch the business, people come, they invite, if you're opening a hospital, you could invite the minister of health, can invite the permanent secretary or under secretary or director general, whatever uh, person you want to invite, but in line with the Ministry of Health to come and preside over the launching. But it's not a must. You can also launch your business even if you don't want to invite the government officials to the ceremony. Then the last one is the growth and the adoption. So this is where now you start making profit. See whether the hospital is generating income, it is living to your expectation or not. And if it is not, then you have to adapt to that. Okay, why are people not coming to your service? What is the problem? You need to evaluate yourself so that you keep on improving so that you get more customers and the business can grow and expand. So these are some of the stages of entrepreneurial process you need to know as you're planning to start up your business. Now let us look at the essential features of entrepreneurship. One is identification of opportunity. We have already known what an opportunity is. Then innovation. Innovation is simply introduction of something new to the market, something of its kind, first of its kind, or a modification of the current product to suit the customer's demand. That's what we mean by innovation. So, in other words, entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs are very innovative. The next one is decision making. They decide, they don't take long in decision making. If they want to invest the money in a business, they do it, they act, they don't wait too long. Because the more you delay, the more the opportunity goes away. So they are very fast in terms of making decisions, and they're also cautious about the decision that they are making. They know the challenges or the outcome of the decision, so they make sure that they analyze each and every element which is related to the decision they are going to take. But the bottom line is they are very quick in making decisions. They don't delay. The next one is accepting challenges. Entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship is all about accepting challenges. What are those challenges? Long working hours. Okay, every day, if you're a businessman, you wake up very early in the morning at 6 or at 5, depending on the nature of your business, then you come back home very late when others are sleeping. So that kind of challenging is only accepted by entrepreneurs. People who are not entrepreneurial, they will never accept such kind of challenges. They want to be at home with their loved one. They don't want to work for very long hours. It's only entrepreneurs who can accept that kind of challenge. So if you're planning to be one or you already one, this is the thing you're supposed to be doing. The next one now is skillful management. They have a skill in management of finances, management of production and operation, production process rather, then the management skills of finances and human resource. So entrepreneurs have all the what? Those skills. They have all those skills. Because in a business you have finance to manage. In a business you need people to work. If you're working in a manufacturing company or manufacturing in a factory, you need people that will take contact. So all these requires a special skills, and they have them. The last one now is the mobilization of resources. The resources can be in terms of money and also in terms of technology or in terms of human resources. So an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship is all about putting those resources together so that the final product can come out. For example, if you have the money, million of dollars, but you don't have the human resource, can the money multiply itself? It cannot. It cannot. And you have the money, you have the human resource, but the technology, the machines are not there. Can the human being use the money to multiply itself? No, they have nothing. So they need machines, technology. So these are some of the resources an entrepreneur can mobilize in order to make sure that the business is running or make sure that there is a product in the market. So basically, these are some of the essential features or characteristics of entrepreneurship. Now, let us look at challenges of entrepreneurship. Everything has a challenge. One is uncertainty. The entrepreneurial journey is filled with uncertainty, including market fluctuations, competition, and foreseen obstacles. So when you're starting a business, you actually don't know what tomorrow will be like. Okay? We're living in a very fragile world. Anything can happen anytime. Okay? You have started your business today, and tomorrow you hear that there is insecurity in the area where you just started your business. Customers are not coming to buy because people are fleeing the area. So how are you going to make the money? How are you going to gain that money you have invested? It becomes almost impossible. So that's some of the challenges being faced by entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship. Uncertainty. It is common because we cannot predict how tomorrow will be like, and we cannot also see what is there tomorrow. So it becomes a challenge to entrepreneurs. The next one is the financial risk. Entrepreneurs often invest their own money and may face financial hardships if their venture fails. That is, if the business is not working. You invest your money, tomorrow, next tomorrow, the business fails because maybe there is no customers to buy it, maybe you did not do enough research, etc. So it becomes a challenge, and that's why many people don't want to invest their money, okay, because of such kind of risk. They were like, ah, what if the business does not work? I'm going to lose this money. What if the business does not work? But don't be with that in your mind. If you look at the characteristic of entrepreneur, you see that they are risk takers. So you need to take the risk. Don't fear. Because you don't know. What if it works? You don't know what will happen. So try to take well calculated risk. And if you fail and don't regret, it is part of success, part of learning. So you learn from mistakes, you learn from your failure. So don't be afraid to fail in business. The next one is now the work-life balance. It's also a challenge. Starting a business requires dedication and long hours, which can impact personal relationships and well-being. I've already explained that point, I think, under certain challenges. So an entrepreneur wakes up very early in the morning and comes back home very late. Okay. By the time you go for work, or by the time you go to open your business or to open your shop, your kids are still sleeping. Okay. By the time you come back home at night, they're already sleeping. So the whole day the kids is spent maybe to school, coming back home, they don't maybe they only see you on weekend. Even sometimes people don't have time for themselves on weekend. They work throughout. So it becomes a challenge. Okay. Kids will be missing the presence of their parents. That's why in most cases now people are leaving kids at home with the house help for the housemaid. Something which might not be right. So basically these are some of the challenges faced by an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship across the globe. Now let us look at some of the factors which favor entrepreneurial growth. One is an inspiring national policy or innovation. If the government has a policy which supports innovation, especially by funding innovative ideas, then the chances of entrepreneurial growth is very high because entrepreneurship is all about innovation. Okay. If such policy is there, for example, giving grants loans to individuals who wants to undertake entrepreneurial activity at maybe a very reduced cost or even at no interest rate, it could be better. Entrepreneurship, people will come and take the money to invest it because they know they are not going to pay much interest or they are not going to pay interest at all. So such kind of policies are very important in entrepreneurial growth. The next one is political stability. Absence of war is very important. You see, war is very, very destructive, not just in entrepreneurial sector, in other sector of the economy. War is really destructive. People will run away to look for safety, okay, in neighboring country. Then what will happen if you just establish your business? The business will be left alone. Everyone is going to hide for their dear lives. So it becomes a challenge. So where the political situation is calm, is stable, then entrepreneurship can grow. It can grow. People are there with the money, the economy is doing well, no wars, business is booming. So your business will be growing at a very fast speed. The next one is infrastructure development. Infrastructure development can be in terms of roads, it can be in terms of bridges, roads to connect different states, different counties, different regions, things like that. Whereby if you have your perishable commodities, what are those perishable products? You've got tomatoes, cabbage. If you have them here in Juba and you want to take them to bake, okay, it should reach there in time when the roads are okay, when there is a bridge to connect. But where the roads are not good, for you to take your perishable commodity from Juba to Rubek, it might take 1 2 weeks. And what will happen in the 1 2 weeks? The tomatoes fall, the cabbages will fall also. That kind of situation brings actual loss to the entrepreneur. So therefore, it discourages the growth of entrepreneurs. But where the infrastructure is very okay, the roads are good, connected to all the counties, Payam and the cities, entrepreneurship will definitely grow because people will be easily moving from one place to another with their commodities with the no much struggle. The last one is now non-expensive loan capital. I've been talking about the interest rate. Well, where the interest rate is very low, people will be attracted to come and they get loan and they invest in their businesses. But if it is high, it discourages many investors from getting loans. You know, in an economy, investors actually play greater role. Okay, when they open up companies like this, they have to recruit people, and when people are recruited, their lives changes because they can have income to take care of their daily expenses. They have the income to even start their own business, etc. So if the loan rate, the interest rate is high, it discourages the employer, I mean the investors money to start their own business. So it hinders the economic development of the country. So we are saying that if we need to have low interest rate to attract the investors in borrowing money, to attract individuals in borrowing money to start their own business. So basically, these are some of the factors which favor entrepreneurial growth. Though there are many, but for this, please I just picked only four. So you will have to look for more points on the factors. Now let us look at the functions of entrepreneurs. One is understanding own capability. They do what we call SWOT analysis. They know what they are capable of doing or what they cannot be doing. So that is their function. By the time they've decided to start up a business, they know their ability. They don't go just into a business without knowing their ability. It's like you going for a war without knowing your ability, without knowing the ability of your enemy. So the best thing is for you to know the ability of your enemies and also to look at your own ability and then see if you can really withstand the pressure. But where you think you cannot withstand the pressure, don't go into the war. So the same thing with the entrepreneurs. Okay. By the time they're going into the business, they know the capability. They have done a lot of research, especially of their competitors. The next one is identifying a new venture opportunity. The entrepreneur is responsible for identifying business opportunities. It's not all about the employees, but it is the owner of the business who identifies the opportunity. The next one is managing finance. However much you have the finance manager, but still an entrepreneur keeps an eye on the finance manager because the finance manager might not do the work exactly the way an entrepreneur wants it to be done. So therefore, they manage their finances by reinvesting the profit. Okay. That's normal how financial management is done for entrepreneurs. They don't save the profit, but they invest the profit. Because saving alone cannot make you rich. You can save money, but you cannot become rich. But the moment you save and then reinvest the saving or reinvest the profit, then you are expanding the business. And what happens when you're expanding the business is you need more workers. Okay. By doing that, you are actually creating employment opportunities to people, and also at the same time, you are expanding your revenue base. You have different sources of revenue. etc. The next one is managing production and operation. If you are having a manufacturing company, maybe you are dealing in the manufacturing of, let me say, cement. Okay. The entrepreneur has that knowledge, and that's one of his functions to manage it. You cannot just leave it to the operation manager to do it. You have to work with the operation manager to make sure that the production process is complete, and then it is not done in a way which can make organization to suffer. Because when talk of production process, it begins from the acquisition of the raw materials. You need to have raw materials before you go have your final product. So that process involves the entrepreneur because he has to look for where to get the raw materials from, and also the quality of the raw material matters. Okay, if you don't have the quality raw material, then the final product will not be also quality. Lastly is managing the workforce. So when you talk of the workforce, we are talking about the human resource now. In an organization, you have people who are working. If you talk of production is done by human being, and then also the finance is also managed by human being. So the entrepreneur has that role to monitor the activities of the human resource in the organization. So those who are not performing to the expectations, then they have a better chance of being taken off or being demoted. So these are some of the functions of an entrepreneur. You need to know if you are planning to be one or if you are already one of them. Last, let us look at the role of entrepreneurship in economic development. One is the creation of employment for themselves as well as others who are involved in entrepreneurial activities. How does entrepreneur create employment opportunity for him or herself? If you are the owner of the organization, you don't need to look for a business. I don't think that where another job. So the business owners are not looking for jobs. They are basically concentrating on how to run their organization in a better way. That's how they create jobs for themselves. They don't look for jobs. And how do they create jobs for others? Through recruitment. Okay. When you have an organization, you cannot run it alone as an entrepreneur. You need people to come and help you in running the activities of the organization. So by doing that, you are creating employment opportunity to the people. By the end of the month, they're going to get something which can improve their standard of living and then the economy of the country at large. So that's how entrepreneurship creates employment opportunity. The next one is providing training grounds to other people who boost their knowledge and gain experience in many areas of life by working for the entrepreneurship. So if you work for the owner of the business or in an organization which is privately owned, you are gaining experience. Okay, you are training yourself. For example, if you work in the production and manufacturing sector, So you are after gaining that experience. You never know tomorrow, next day, you'll also think of making your own. Okay, that's one. Then number two is some organizations, some private organizations, they give internship program for the fresh graduates. So all that is part of training, which can improve their chances of securing a permanent job. So these are some of the points under training as a role of entrepreneurship in economic development. The last one now is the decentralizing economic activities. This is achieved through location of business in different parts of the country. For example, Juba is our capital city. If you want to decentralize the economic activities, then we take up branches to Beg, to Yambio, to Yei, Malakal, etc. By doing that, we are decentralizing the economic activities. So people who are in Malakala, people who are in Ubek, they also benefit from the opportunities along with the creation of that job. For example, if you have a branch there, we need people, of course, to work in that branch. So the locals will get jobs, their lives will change. So that is how entrepreneurship can decentralize economic activity simply by taking branches to those places. And that's what I had for you in this presentation. Thank you so much for watching, and we meet in the next presentation.